The beast roared mightily as it swept its claws out at the shaking mass of crew members, the sharp nails barely missing the group as they dove in all directions in an attempt to escape the wrath of the monster. Picking themselves up off the floor, they huddled back together in a shoddy group, raising their improvised weapons towards the creature in self-defense, namely mess trays and small knives they got from the kitchen. The beast only bared its sharp fangs back in defiance.
How in the seven gods' name did that thing breach containment? I don't know. What are we going to do? We're getting out of here, that's what.
They turned and ran for the bulkhead, pushing and shoving past each other as they tried to become one with their inner coward. As they neared the door, one managed to escape the ball of stampeding crew members without being trampled and sprung forward, tossing himself past the door and into the hallway. A robotic voice blared as the bulkhead doors shut-closed, separating the main group and the one who ran ahead. Unknown lifeform detected. Locking down section 3A. The stragglers banged on the cold metal of the door, screamed bloody murder and hurling all sorts of profanity at the AI as they did.
You dumb AI! You lock us in with it, but you won't keep it out? You a useless hunk of circuitry.
The loud bellow of the beast brought their attention back to the situation at hand, the large animal slowly approaching the group one step at a time, the gleam of hunger shining in its eyes. You could almost hear the collective gulp of the group as they turned to face the animal, each and every one of them shaken in terror. The beast roared, and the scream from the group rivaled the beast's own.
Scatter!
The captain's door swung open violently, the loud bang of the door hitting the wall, making her sit up, ramrod straight in alarm. She didn't even get the chance to orient himself before she was hit with a barrage of words, the near-nonsensical babble of her crew member filling her ears.
Captain! The wreck has escaped containment and is doing us in, please help!
The captain blinked groggily at him, still evidently far too tired to be having this conversation, having been woken up in the middle of their sleep cycle. You're speaking far too fast, please slow down.
The wreck escaped!
The what? Did what?
The wreck escaped!
What?
Yes!
What do we do? She looked blankly at her crew member, her ears flattening on her head in fear as his words finally sunk in. Finding no reasonable options left, she did the one thing she never wanted to do. Get him! She stammered out.
Him?
Jeff! Get Jeff!
Tell him I'll pay him 20,000 credits if he deals with it.
Surely not. You do remember how much we had to pay him to deal with the last incident?
Whatever choice do we have? I don't plan to be frack feed, do you?
Opening his mandible to make a retort, he closed it, as he found that no words wanted to come out.
You'll make a compelling argument,
he said, before promptly turning and scuttering down the hallway towards Jeff's room. The door creaked as it slowly opened, an insectoid head peeking around the doorway warily. Seeing the human still asleep in his bunk, he turned on the lights and approached him, tapping him on the shoulder softly with his pincer. Like lightning, the rattle of Jeff's snoring was replaced with a high-pitched squeal as he jumped out of his bed, collapsing on the cold floor of his room. I'm awake! I'm awake! He screamed out to no one in particular, his head swiveling like a top before his gaze landed on the intruder in his room. Rathal? Why the fuck are you in my room? Actually, don't answer that. I don't want to know.
What? You haven't even heard what I was going to say yet. Why are you getting back in your bed?
Why? You just woke me in the middle of the night and I'm not on duty for... He glanced at the clock hanging on his wall. The next 6 hours. So scram you, mantis twat. The insectoid said helplessly as he crawled back into bed, snuggling back up into his covers.
It's an emergency.
A loud, faux snore was all he received. The captain said she'll pay you 20,000 credits if you get up and deal with it. In a flash, Jeff threw off the blankets on top of him, leaping to his feet and standing to attention as he threw an over-exaggerated salute up. Senior Engineer Jeff Richardson reporting for duty. What do you need me for?
So, you know...
Fucking hell, spit it out already. I want to go back to sleep.
The wreck escaped. Please make it go away.
The wreck? And I get to deal with it however I want?
Correct. Will you?
Would I? I've been asking to play with it all month. I reckon the thing likes me, eh? Even gave me a sloppy lick of the cheek after it tried to bite my arm off, cheeky bugger.
What?
So where is it?
The canteen, I hope. If it's escaped, I'm taking the evacuation pod out and you can fetch me if you survive.
Say less. I've got this, he said, as he marched out of his room, purpose filling his strides. The captain stumbled towards the canteen, rubbing the dust of sleep in the corners of her eyes as she walked. Turning the corner, she saw the closed bulkhead of the canteen, deep gouge marks marring the plaster of the door. Beside the door, she saw the beaten and bruised bodies of her crew resting on the wall, most of them visibly shaken and a few curled up into balls, whimpering. A look of concern flashed across her face as she heard the distant mumblings from the traumatized crew.
Jeff hasn't said anything in a while. He took on that beast like it was nothing. They've been silent for a bit. Do you think he's alright? After that ruckus before? I hope so.
Her eyes widened in panic as she overheard what they said, sprinting to the door and punching in her access code, overriding the lockdown. As soon as the door slid open, she sprinted in.
Jeff, are you okay?
Her words died in her throat as she looked at the sight with wide eyes, a look of disbelief plastered onto her face. The beast was curled around Jeff, his head on his lap pressed up against Jeff's chest, earnestly asking for more pats. He was more than happy to oblige, giving the large animal a gentle rub on the head, a soft smile on his face. She could only look on in shock at the scene.
That's a Class A deadly animal. What are you doing?
This little puppy? She's harmless. Really does remind me of my Doberman at home, he mused to himself.
But harmless?
She looked around at her surroundings. Overturned tables and benches littered the ground around them, large claw marks scratching the walls and floor.
Is your Doberman a recognized Death Order species and almost 3 times as big as you?
No, but my dog always acts like this. And she's not just any Death Order, she responds to Rose now.
She could easily kill you.
But Rose loves me, look at her. And sure enough, Rose raised her head and gave him a lick on the cheek, a thin sheen of saliva covering his face. Can I keep her? You don't have to pay me. Her palm met her snout with astounding force, a headache forming at the thought of the large creature trundling around her spaceship, and the paperwork that was sure to follow. On the other hand, 20,000 credits was also a lot of money. In fact, it could probably pay for all the repairs and then some.
We'll talk about it. Can you move her back to her containment chamber now?
Not yet. We're still playing.